In this video, we are going to look at the nested if statement. In JavaScript, you can use nested if statement to check for more complex conditions. So when you have more complex conditions, you can use a nested if statement. You can also use a nested statement with even simple conditions like this. Now we did something like this. We can restructure this using the nested if statement, and we're going to do that shortly. A nested if statement is an if statement inside another if statement, which allows you to create more complex conditions by checking multiple conditions. So you can have more than one condition to check, and you may want to put that inside. You will want to put an if statement inside another if statement. So in that case, you have something like a parent if statement that have children. So I want us to restructure this or to refactor this to use the nested if statement, and after this we will look at another example. So let's say we have if now in the previous video we saw a situation where the person can type anything here that is neither male or female, neither male nor female. So in that case, if you run this code, it says your input is invalid. Gender can neither be male or female. Now let's say I don't want to have this in this way. What I want to do is, first I want to validate this input. So normally if you have an input and users are typing into that input, the first thing you want to do is to run a validation. So we're going to use the nested if statement to run a validation. So that means the parent if statement is going to run the validation to make sure that the value is either male or female. When we have validated that, we can have another if statement, an inner if statement that checks if the gender is male, it does whatever it's supposed to do, else it does the other stuff. So let's do that. So let's refactor our code. So in this case, we are going to say if gender is equal to male, or remember we did we treated this operator, and this is a logical or operator. So we have gender is equal to female. So we have gender is equal to male, or gender is equal to female, like this. So if gender is equal to male or gender is equal to female, we want to have another if statement here that says if gender is equal to male, like this, then print this, else print this. Okay, so we don't need this anymore, so we're going to delete it. So this is a nested if statement because we have this if statement inside this if statement. So this is a nested if statement. So a nested if statement is when you have an if statement, or you can have one or more if statements inside another if statement. In fact, you can still have another if statement here depending on what you are trying to achieve. So there's no limits to the number of if statements you can have inside the parent if statement. So a child can still have a child if statement as well. So inside this if statement, we can still have another if statement. So that's nested if statement. So in this case, we can see first we want to make sure that the gender is either male or female. So we say gender is equals to male or gender is equals to female, like this. So if we have confirmed that these values the gender is equals to male or gender is equals to female. So in this case, we have restricted our condition to just two. So it's either the gender is equals to female or gender is equals to male. So now we want to run our final check. So in this case, we have two conditions. So we want to check now. So if gender is equal to male, then display this message, else. Now in this case, there's no need to have else if, because we just have two conditions. So if it's not male, that means automatically it's female. So we have else, then print this message. For the parent if statement, we have if gender is equals to male or gender is equals to female, then to do this. So if this statement evaluates to true, that means if the value is any of this, then this will run. Else, that means if gender is not equal to male nor female, then it should fall back to this else. So in the else, we say your input is invalid. Gender can either be male or female. So if you run this code now, you see it says your input is invalid. Gender can either be, I was using by, sorry about that. So gender can either be male or female. Okay. So we can see we have refactored this code and it's still behaving the same way. That is great. Okay, so this is how we can use the nested if statement. Now we can see in this program we had this exercise that you were supposed to type and check the output. This has been restructured, and you can see we're now using the nested if statement. So what is happening here is if your score is greater than or equal to 60, then there's a message that says you passed the exam. So that means if you run this code, if your score is greater than or equal to 60, you are going to get two messages on the screen. First, you will see a message that says you passed the exam. Then next, you will see a message with your grade. So it will tell you if it's an A, B, C, or D. So like you did in the previous video, type this code in the playground and see the result. Play with it to get to understand what this is doing. So you can change the values just to see the output. With this, you'll be able to get a better understanding of the if statement and the nested if statement. So before we finish this video, there's an exercise I want us to do. So I want us to write a program that uses the gender and the age to display a message. So we're going to have something like gender is equal to, let's say, female here, and we're going to have age is equal to, let's say, 5. So we want to check with the gender and age to display a message on the screen based on these parameters. So first we want to check the gender. So we say, and we are assuming that gender can either be female or male. So we are assuming that in the browser or on the web page we are using a select instead of an input. So the person will have to select either a female or a male. And before you get here, you must have selected a value. So we say if gender is equal to female. So if gender is equal to female, else this. Okay. So the first condition is if gender is equal to female. Now, if gender is female, we still have different categories of female based on the age. So if the age is somewhere between 1 or 0 and 17, so from 0 and 17 we want to say the person is a girl. From 18 to, let's say, 30, we want to say you are a young woman. And from, let's say, 30 to any age, we want to say you are an adult or you are a matured woman. So let's do something like this. So inside here we have if age. So we have confirmed that this person is female. So we say if age is less than 18. So let's do this. If age is less than 18, then console.log you are a girl. We still have another 2 more conditions to check, so we need the else if. So we say if age is, so if age is less than 18, so if it's less than 18, it should say you are a girl. If it's not less than 18, then that means it's greater than or equal to 18. We need the and here. Remember when we treated and, so and age is less than let's move the limit to 35, so less than or equal to 35. So from 18 to 35 you are a youth. So console.log you are a young woman. Else, that means this person is a matured person. So you are a matured woman, like this. Okay, then we want to copy this because it's something that is happening here. Just the message we change. You are a boy here. You are a young boy, or let's say young man, and you're a man, a matured man. Okay, great. So if we run this now, it says you are a girl. If we change the age to 50, it says you're a matured woman. If we change the age to, let's say, 30, it says you're a young woman. If we change this gender to male, it says you're a young man. And if age is 3, it says you are a boy. And let's say age is 300, or the best to this person says you are a matured man. Great. So you can see we have a program that is let me say responsive. So it responds to you based on the input. So it takes this input and gives a message based on these parameters. So we see we have been able to utilize the nested if statement here to achieve this amazing stuff. And there's so much more that you can do with nested if statements and if statements generally. So keep practicing, and you will get to understand better how the if statement works and the nested if statements as well. So that's it for this video. Hope you are learning well. See you in the next video.